is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Listen to other great tech podcasts at www.techpodcasts.com.
Yo, you are in the right place at the right time, listening to the right thing. Techwebcast. Congratulations on choosing such an awesome thing to listen to. You are clearly very smart. You're into tech stuff. You love hearing Brad and Jason and their guests chat, and you're probably really good looking too. Well done. So let's get into it. The weekly tech extravaganza that is Techwebcast. In 3, 2, 1, let's go!
Welcome to the episode 197 of the Techwebcast podcast, recorded on Saturday, the 14th July, 2012. Techwebcast is recorded every Saturday and rebroadcast on Aussie Tech Heads on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. And usual hosts are Brad, Jody, and myself, Steve.
Hey, Steve, how are you, mate?
Pretty good.
Good, cool. Good to hear.
Recently did some housework. My drains were backed up for actually almost a week. That's a long story, though. But we're good to go. Everything's fixed.
That must be bad.
It was pretty horrible.
Good stuff. And we've got Jody. Hey, Jody, back on. Hey, welcome back.
Hey, thanks, Brad. I'm glad to be here. And my drains were perfect this week.
I'm jealous.
I never have blocked drains. And we've got guest Craig Shipp on. Hey, Craig.
Howdy.
Howdy. Welcome.
It's a big honor to be here. Thank you very much for the invite.
No problem. So how's your week been, Steve, before you get into the news and stuff? Any news you want to mention?
Let me see. Not really. I know we talked a little bit about the iPad, the Google Plus new version for the iPad. I guess it's a universal app, but now it's and I know you've really been really waiting for that, and me as well.
And also, there's been an update for the iPhone version as well.
Okay.
You can make Hangouts now and that sort of thing. So that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Good stuff. And also we got Brian is sitting in, having a bit of listen, and he might put in his 2 cents as well. Hey, Brian.
Hello. Do I sound better?
A little bit, but that's good if you're on mute. But if you want to throw in, mate, just jump in anytime. So, Jody, what have you been up to?
Well, mostly training the dog, but it's all good. It's all good. And we have some great news when we're ready for it.
Sure.
So all kinds of interesting stories happening this week.
What's your dog been doing? Been trying to get the cat?
He is trying to eat the cat, and right now I've got him in a crate, so hopefully he's not going to interrupt us. But I went and met with a dog trainer, and I think I'm going to hire him to work with me. Ruger is very, very smart. He's a Belgian Malinois, and I think he's got a lot of potential. I want to make sure that he reaches all of that. So I'm thinking about bringing in the professional.
All right. Good stuff. All right. We've got some news, so let's talk some news then before we get into talking to Craig.
Okay. So we had some interesting stories happen this week. Did you guys hear about the Yahoo emails hacked?
Sort of, yeah.
I have, yes.
Well, there's still a lot of questions about this alleged Yahoo Voices data breach, including whether there was a reason behind the breach in the first place. But Yahoo has now officially confirmed that the data did in fact come from its servers, and approximately 400,000 email addresses and passwords have been leaked in plain text online. Meanwhile, security specialists are now parsing the data, and one has created a script to check if your email address, which doesn't have to be an @yahoo.com address, is among those that was exposed. Now, I know a while back, Yahoo had integrated with Facebook. So it's possible that even if you're not a Yahoo user, you potentially could have your email compromised if you're connected to somebody who is. So what are they doing? First of all, there is a script that you can check to make sure that you were not compromised, and we'll have that in the show notes or on the website later. But roughly 135, 136,000 emails came from Yahoo, but a further 106,000 came from Gmail, 54,000, 55,000 approximately from Hotmail, 25,000 AOL, 8,400 from Comcast, and roughly 6,300 from MSN. So the numbers aren't exactly the same as those being tallied by the others, but they're kind of close. So again, whenever a breach like this occurs, regardless of whether you are a Yahoo user or not, I highly suggest that you take a look and make sure that you're not compromised. And if you are, you want to change your password.
I will do that right now.
You know what?
Well, make sure you mute when you do that.
Actually, I've had my email with Yahoo for quite a while, and actually I forgot about it. I do probably need to change the password.
Probably not a bad idea. I mean, I think best practice is to change it every 6 months. I don't know if it's 3 months or 6 months. Brad, do you have any idea?
No, I don't have any idea on this story. I don't use Yahoo at all, so I don't really need to worry about this story.
How frequently would you recommend people change their passwords?
Probably every week.
Okay.
Or you could change it the day before you get hacked.
That would be
Wouldn't that be nice?
That would be
and then you'd be
convenient,
hacked.
Yeah, exactly. All right, what else has been happening, JD?
Well, interesting. There has been a breakthrough from Northwestern University that they're predicting could result in future computers being about 1 million times more power efficient than computers are today. Evidently, modern day computers are based on logic circuits using semiconductor transistors, and to increase the computing power, smaller transistors are required. So Moore's law, which states that the number of transistors that can fit on an integrated circuit should double every 2 years due to scaling. Apparently, as transistors reach atomic dimensions, achieving this is becoming increasingly difficult. So regardless, what happened was Northwestern University researchers found a solution, and that is an entirely new logic circuit family based on magnetic semiconductor devices. So for those of you who are like true geeks, this is an exciting situation. For the rest of us, I'm going to wait to see it happen. Anybody want to make a comment about the story, or
Steve?
should we move on?
Any comments?
Yeah, I got a comment. I've kind of seen that as well. Because being in computers, I guess, since around 1993. Back then, like some of the power requirements, just for give you an example, for the central processing unit or CPU is like at 5 volts. Today we're talking about not even maybe a volt, or actually less than volts maybe. So yeah, obviously the smaller the transistors are, the less power you need, and obviously power efficiency is really important, especially for mobile devices, laptops, and so on.
Cool. What about you, Brian? Any comments?
I've heard about the problem that people or the manufacturers have been facing for, past 10 years, about how the transistors are getting so small and they're packing them so much that basically the thickness between the two is like 4 atoms wide, and they're getting to the point of problem with crossover with electrical signals, jumping over, and mainly it was finding that silicon is starting to show its age, and they're trying to find new materials. So, but this is really nothing new, but it is really cool.
Mm-hmm. All right,
Actually, it is.
Story.
Okay. Yeah, we have a couple of stories about Facebook. You remember maybe a couple of months ago, the whole look and feel of Facebook suddenly changed, and they introduced Timeline. Well, if you think about it, Timeline killed $1 billion industry. And the reason that it did is because once the rollout of Facebook, the Timeline for Facebook came about, all of those pages, the old pages format where companies would set up a tab landing page, they basically killed the landing pages. So the tabs have been minimized now, and more importantly, companies can no longer set a default landing page. So for brands, this is critical. Users are now seeing the pages as more fluid. They see the posts and comments. But what has happened is Facebook pages are down a staggering 53% since Timeline launched. So what this means is that all of these companies, first of all, that spent a fortune investing in creating their pages and creating the landing pages, that's basically gone. And a lot of those were very large companies. And has it leveled the playing field? Perhaps it has a little bit. I think what it does to some extent is it encourages the brands to engage and interact more, as opposed to just having these splashy landing pages. Personally, I think it's a better look and feel. It's less like those glaring billboards when you're driving down to Atlantic City. So, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
I'm just curious whether you guys feel, first of all, do you like the timeline, or do you like the way it was before? And do you moan the fate of these fancy page builder companies that started up and died overnight?
I like the timeline, or the old one. It doesn't really bother me, really. I know, Brian, you're not a fan of it, are you? You're not really.
No, for the fact that I liked it way before. For the fact it's it shows everything that I have done since signing on in 2005 and stuff. And I know you could probably take stuff off, but for the fact it was forced upon people. I didn't want it. I held out for the longest time until they decided, this is all Zuckerberg's decision and stuff. And, I don't trust him. Every time I look at a picture of him, I shudder.
In what way you don't trust him? He looks pretty cool, the guy. The guy looks pretty cool. In what way don't you trust him?
Because he could do, with all that data, he could probably find other things to do with it to make money off of.
Oh, yeah.
Already that, we already know that they accumulate the data to sell off to the advertisers, and there's just something about him that I can't trust him.
All right. What about you, Steve?
I don't know. I don't know if what you're trying to say, Jody, is maybe the people, perhaps they don't like it, so they're not using it as much. Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is it used to be when you built a page for a business, you could create an iframe that took you to a landing page. It basically was not on Facebook, but it looked like it was a Facebook page. And you could make that the default page when people came to visit your business. You could control the content, you could have forms, you could have, whatever you wanted, but basically it was an iframe. What happened with the timeline is that they still have those tabs, but they cannot be the default. The default is that you land on timeline. So what it has effectively done is all of those pages, the company spent a fair amount of money to produce, and there were companies, advertising agencies and Facebook page building companies that were springing up right and left. Essentially, it, with one broad stroke, destroyed that whole industry, and also decreased the viewership of those pages by 53%, which means that essentially they're no longer viable. They're no longer valuable to create. So it's killed an industry, but it's changed the tone of what businesses are able to do and what people are looking at.
Well, I think with Facebook, advertisers in general, or not necessarily advertisers, but sometimes they have a tendency of getting in your face. It's like, you get the telemarketers always calling. So maybe perhaps I kind of believe what you're saying, that it would kind of force these people to engage with either their users or Facebook itself more, instead of just kind of being in your face, just like you mentioned. I think that's a good thing, but not for them perhaps.
Yeah.
But
well, for companies, I don't think it's as healthy. But there's another interesting thing that happened this week with Facebook. The question is, when you like a page, kind of what your expectation is of what that like means, and what they're actually promoting as a new feature. So essentially, once you like a page, you could be posting to your newsfeed even when you're not purposely posting to your newsfeed. So in other words, if you happen to have like any kind of, let's say, a political page in your Facebook life, the page could be posting on your behalf, which makes it kind of awkward because you don't know that it's posting. So here's what is being said. If you actively share a link, a post, or photo, you expect that shared item to go out to your friends immediately. In this case, however, the posts are going out under your name because at some point in the past, in some cases the distant past, you visited a page and click like. Yes, you voluntarily liked the page and you made it part of your Facebook profile. If a Facebook friend wants to go through your list of likes, they can learn that you like the NRA or PETA or some other seemingly innocuous group that maybe you didn't realize was funded by Karl Rove's Political Action Committee. But you probably didn't expect that simple click to result in a flood of posts under your name months later. So apparently, Facebook calls this a new feature. It's not a glitch. This is something that's intended, and they say that it's intended to help people find pages that their friends like. But essentially, I mean, personally, I think that it's hijacking. What do you guys think?
Well, I think people should be more aware of what they're doing. They just see, you know, they're a Facebook user and they go to this website and it says, "Oh, log in using your Facebook page or your Facebook login," and not thinking, well, I might actually comment here and it may post something in my Facebook page. So people need to be a little bit more aware of how they're using social networking, you know, plus liking things and things like that. But, you know, people don't. They just, you know, oh, I'm going to put something on my Facebook page or whatever.
It seems like to me that the point is if Facebook abuses these things, in other words, if I go around and I click like on various pages and then they later on leverage that in various ways that might eventually piss me off, then it's going to come around to them, and what's going to happen is they're going to lose any credibility that they do have. They don't have any with me right now anyway, and there are a lot of people that they don't have much credibility with. So whatever credibility they have, they're going to lose, and so in the end, they're going to be like the media is now, where we don't trust half of the things we hear from them because we know that they're grandstanding a lot of times, just trying to get viewers and so on. It's going to be the same thing with Facebook, where we're just not going to trust them. And people may eventually stop using those like buttons and stop visiting Facebook as often and maybe go somewhere else like Google+.
Well, I think people
One
have
can only
to
hope, right?
I think
Yep.
people
That's it.
have to be aware what...
Right, next.
Okay, we're going to go next one.
Let's go ahead.
Next story, Jay. Any more stories?
You know, actually, this one I didn't put in the show notes, but because we were talking about Facebook, it reminded me earlier in the week, there was an article regarding Facebook and watching users' chats. Essentially, they're saying that they're watching it for criminal activity, and they're supposed to notify the police if there's any suspicious behavior. But the screening process begins with scanning software that monitors chats for words or phrases that essentially signal something that might be out of place or amiss. But the bottom line is, the scanning software is monitoring what you're saying in chat, which, you know, essentially I think you have the illusion that that's between you and one other person and then it's private. The question then becomes, when are they stepping over the line? So I'm just curious whether you guys have any feeling about this. I mean, I'm a little bit outraged.
It's like wiretapping. I mean, in fact, I know in some instances like that, even though it's going into like software usage, like police and federal agents have to get a warrant to be able to do that, even though it's not physical, perhaps, such as like phone lines or something like that. But it sounds to me almost like wiretapping.
Well, it's interesting because I noticed at first because I was having a chat with somebody, and then I noticed that the ads on the pages reflected something from our conversation, which was unusual. But apparently it's now been verified, and in fact they are monitoring the chat.
All right. So
I think the sad truth is we have to assume that everything we do online is being recorded, monitored, stored, whether we like it or not. I think that's the reality. So we have to think about that anytime we're using any of these services.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
So I have one more story, and then we can get to the interview. So apparently, if the latest reports end up proving true, we could be seeing the next iPhone launch sooner than expected. A finger quotes, reliable industry source told Know Your Mobile that the next iPhone will be unveiled during an August 7th Apple keynote. The next iteration of Apple's operating system, iOS 6, is also expected to be officially released at the same time. Last year, the iPhone 4S debuted October 4th and went on sale a week later. The iPhone 4 was launched in June at Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference the year before that. This year, Apple has largely been expected to unveil the next generation iPhone in either September or October. A late September to early October launch puts the iPhone in a good position for holiday sales, giving Apple the full span of the holiday quarter for beefy profits and sales numbers. An August launch feels a little bit early for us, but Apple shook things up with the launch date of the iPhone last year, so it's certainly within the realm of possibility. Regardless of when the iPhone officially does debut, enterprising sellers on some of the Chinese websites are letting iPhone fans pre-order an iPhone 5, even though it hasn't been officially announced yet. So, Brad, I know you are an iPhone aficionado. Are you going to be jumping on the iPhone 5 as soon as it comes out?
Probably not.
Really?
Yeah. I don't
Wow,
really
that's
need
surprising.
I'm with the iPhone 4 at the moment. See what happens when it comes out. I don't really need another.
Okay. Everybody, note the date that Brad said no.
No, I didn't say no.
I don't believe you.
See what happens. Steve, what do you reckon?
Do you have the 4S now, Brad?
Yeah, 4S. Yeah, I got the 4S. Yeah, mate. Yeah, I'm happy with the 4S. I don't really need another phone. But what about you, Jade? You gonna upgrade or?
I don't know. I think it depends on what the new features are. I mean, after all, the 4S was really just another version of the 4 with a little faster processor, a few other features, including Siri.
Yeah.
But the 5 should have a lot of improvements. So I'm curious to see exactly what it's going to come out with.
Yeah, I'm sort of saying with you. I'll wait to see what happens. What about you, Craig?
Well, I like the 4S. I really like the form factor. I like the camera in it. I have a 4 also as well. I bought the 4S mainly for the camera upgrade. And if they come out with a larger phone for the iPhone 5, which is one of the rumors, I don't know that I would like it that much larger. I really like the size of this to carry and the screen is big enough for me. I need to wear reading glasses. I'm at that age now. You all will get there eventually. Mm-hmm. And so if I have to put those reading glasses on anyway, then the size of the screen is not an issue. So I'll have to see the phone. I bought every phone they've had so far, so I have a track record of buying every single one of them, but it better be significantly better because I am very happy with the 4S.
Yeah, and also you get the iPad 3 now, so you can do most things on the iPad 3 now. I use the iPad 3 for most things now, just for watching video.
Yeah, but I don't carry it with me. I carry the iPhone. Just because it's so portable.
But who watches the videos on the iPhone these days? I don't know about you guys, but do you, Steve, or does Jody or Brian?
No, not really.
I only have the iPod Touch, but that's
okay.
Very
what about you, Steve?
I don't really watch videos, either on my iPhone or iPad. I'd rather have, a desktop or stream it to my television or something like that. I usually.
But you can't, Steve.
Huh?
You don't have enough. You can't do that.
What?
You can't stream anything from your device because you have an old TV. Let's move on. Jody, what about you?
Absolutely. I love watching the video on my iPad because I think that the display is amazing. I mean, it just pops and it's very portable. That's why I got the MiFi, so I can, hook it up and share it with me.
For you?
I like it. I was disappointed because I got the wrong one, but it works fine.
He got one, but he got ripped off big time.
Oh, that's a shame. I think he got the same one I did. That was the Virgin Mobile one.
Yeah, he did, but he just can't get any reception at his house.
Oh, that's a shame.
And what's your view on that, Brian, by the way? I wouldn't mind getting your take on that. Jake, it's my fuck. That's 10. He's got some interesting...
he finally got it.
He did.
And he can't use it?
No, he can't.
Wow, that's $65 down the drain?
Like
Sorry.
Actually, I wanted to add something on that.
I mean... Oh. And there's no way to return it?
No, you can't.
Ouch. Well, let's
Actually,
put it
my
this way: if he can keep it around for long enough, he may be able to use it in other places if he gets to move, move to another place.
Well, apparently he's going out tomorrow, so I think he's going to use it tomorrow. But that's what he said. But I don't know what happens. Yeah, go ahead, Steve. What were you going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say that the Virgin Mobile MiFi that I had, I didn't use it. Yeah, I use it when if I'm away from home, out of town, and it doesn't work anymore. I turn it on, it turns off. So that kind of tells you.
Okay, interesting. All right, JD, that's it for the news stories.
That's it for the news.
Good stuff. Thanks. And Jason will be back next week, I think.
Yay.
Has it been 3 weeks?
I don't know.
I think so.
Seems like 6 months. No, just kidding. I'm just kidding, Jason.
Yeah, just kidding, Jason. We can't wait to get you back on, mate. All right, we've got the guest today. Jody, who do we have on? Craig Shipp.
We have a very interesting guest today. Craig Shipp does the areaguides.com. He does a lot of internet and new media. He is a photographer. He's very talented. He does area guides. He's got multiple businesses. He's also an expert with utilizing the internet to drive business. Yep. Craig, welcome to the show.
Hey, it's great to be here.
Good to have you on, mate. Welcome. What do you do? And firstly, tell us people what you do.
Well, I like to say my day job is the Area Guides Network. I have a site here in Frederick County, Maryland, as an example, is frederick.com, FREDRICK.com, and that is what I call a local portal website for Frederick County, Maryland. And it's a pretty simple concept. You get a very strong domain name, which is hopefully the name of the community.com with frederick.com. And then you place a lot of information on there about the community, and we make money by having a business directory in there, and the businesses pay for premium placement in that business directory. The businesses can get a name, address, and phone number for free, but then if they want more visibility, they upgrade to what we call a sponsor, and they pay an annual fee for more visibility. And we have about 400 local businesses that have decided to do that on frederick.com. So that's an example of a local portal website.
Nice. Good stuff. Steve, any questions for Craig?
I think initially I did watch the main video on your site, and I thought it was a very interesting idea how you implement that, because you said something like if they try to utilize like a small local business, something big like Google or something, often when they need support or something, they can't really get a hold of anybody. Where if it's something
absolutely
like what you do, then they have somebody that they can go to for support, for help, for guidance or whatever.
Absolutely. We have what we call field reps that go out in the field and deal with these small businesses. They're mainly owner-operator businesses. And these are the people that don't have the time to learn all about the internet and figure out how to get their business on Google Local and how to do a Facebook page and how to do a Twitter feed and how to tie all these things together. And more importantly, how to reach local people that are within a short distance of their business. If it's a restaurant, for example, they want people within 5 miles that are going to actually come there and eat. So what we can do with these portal websites is we can put together what we call a landing page that has a lot of information about their business. We tune it up for keyword searches and so forth. If they have the Facebook and Twitter, we can embed those in the page. We can give them couponing on there as well. And we can work with them on all of this. And we can do it at a low cost because we do high volume. We have a lot of businesses that we work with. So we're not the typical, quote, web developer out there that might have a dozen or two clients and has to charge a lot of money for each one to pay the rent. We have hundreds and hundreds of customers, so we don't have to charge as much money. So it's just a fairly efficient way to provide these services.
And what are some of the services that you offer? I know you mentioned some of them, like Facebook. Can you go into more detail?
Well, the biggest thing that we do is we physically go out to the business, and we'll take photos and we'll shoot a video if necessary, and we'll work with that business owner to come up with a plan that makes sense for that business, and then we'll plug them into this local website, And then we do a lot to generate traffic to that website. And that's one of the things I do in the photography end of things is I'll go out and I'll cover events. Like, for example, last night right here in Thurmont, they had a parade. And it was a great parade. And so I went out and shot a whole bunch of photos and shot video clips and put together a feature on the website, which is, of course, all keyword searchable and so forth, and which pulls traffic into the sites. So if people want to see that feature on the parade at any time, they can go back and take a look at that. And there's literally thousands of people were at this parade, and probably 300 or 400 of them are in the video. So they all want to go see themselves and so forth and share it with their friends. And we put the same content up on Facebook, and they go in and they tag it with names and so forth. And this all virally helps promote the website, and anything that promotes the website drives traffic to the website, and that gives more eyeballs to see that local business directory and see that nice feature on the barber shop or on the local restaurant or on the plumber or whatever it is that they may need. So it all creates a synergy and all creates that local. We like to say that we were a social network before there was anything called social networks. We started in 1996. Okay, so we predate Facebook, Google, all of these things. Google came around about the same time as us. And so we've been doing social for a long time, and we actually know how to do it profitably for local businesses. So that's really the focus that we have.
All right. Any questions for Craig?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Craig, just out of curiosity, so you started the business in 1996. What was the genesis of the idea? How did you get started with this kind of a concept?
Well, some years prior to that, I had a business called Dial-A-Service that had displays in hotel lobbies. And we had something called a Touchmatic 32 phone in the base of the unit. We had 32 ad spots, and you may have seen similar things at airports where you can call hotels. Well, these you could call local restaurants and maybe the dry cleaner or whatever right from the hotel lobby. You could pick up the phone and push the button and call them. And basically, we sold that advertising on those displays. So when the internet came around, I said, well, how could we do something similar? How could we have a guide to a community and sell advertising on there and provide similar services, but at a bigger scale and more efficiently? And so I started grabbing up domain names for communities, for mainly counties in this area, because everything's referred to by county. For example, if there's a snowstorm in this area, they'll announce schools are an hour late in Frederick County. Schools are an hour and a half late in Montgomery County. That's the way everything is referred to as by county. So in the phone books, the yellow pages were based on counties as well. So I said, okay, I'm going to grab domain names for these various jurisdictions and put together a network of local portal sites. And we've been working on it ever since. And I'm not saying that we have the thing licked. I mean, we're profitable and we've been around a long time, but there's still a lot of challenges, and it's still very much a work in progress. And really, I say we're just getting started on the potential of this whole thing.
How are you able to compete with like Yelp or Angie's List? Do you feel that you compete with them?
Not really, because they don't have boots in the street. At least they don't in our area. They're going after the cream. They're going after businesses that are savvy enough to maybe go on their website and sign up for their service or whatever, or maybe it's a chain that's savvy enough to do that. And I'm not saying that our clients are not savvy. I'm saying that they're small businesses, they're owner-operators, they're out there working all day, every day. They don't have the time to research all of these things and to figure out what is going to work and what isn't going to work. And so what we do is we establish a relationship with them and a certain amount of trust, because we've been around a long time. We've dealt with all of this. And so a lot of them give us a vote of confidence and give us their check because they would rather us coordinate these things for them. And we will use all the tools available. I mean, if it makes sense for them to use Facebook and Twitter and Groupon and some of these other services, we'll help them out with those as well. It's not like we're just a one-trick pony and we say go on Frederick.com and all your problems are solved. But at the same time, we will try to limit their exposure to programs that aren't going to work for them, and to like the snake oil salesmen out there that are always trying to sell them some secret SEO sauce that may or may not work for them.
All right, good stuff, Craig. Brian, any questions? I think Brian's gone, has he? Brian, you there?
No, I'm here. I can't think of anything.
All right, okay, so
off the
Brian,
top of
you
my
do
head.
another podcast called The Pageant Live, do you? Tell us about that.
Oh boy, that's you wanted to comment on the pageant live?
Yeah, well, you do have a podcast, don't you? Besides, what do you...
Yeah. Well, that. Everybody has to have a 10% project.
Yeah, definitely.
And my 10% project is called hangout10.com, hangout10.com.
Okay.
And it is going to be a network of shows that are produced using Google Plus Hangouts.
Wait. Okay.
And I was recording shows, and you were on one of the early shows like a year ago.
That's right. You did the news one, didn't you? The news.
Yeah, and you were on that. We had like a satire local news show.
Yeah.
And so we were recording shows and putting them up on YouTube before they had the Hangouts on Air and all that they have now, where you can just stream it up to YouTube. So we were doing that way before that.
Yeah.
And so one of our shows that is starting to get some traction is called Pageant Live, and it's all about the pageant industry. We have national title holders, international title holders on the show talking about everything that goes on in the world of pageants, and it's actually pretty fascinating. And you meet some very interesting young ladies in the show that are up and comers, and some of them I think are going to be famous actresses, models, newscasters. You meet these people on their way up.
Good stuff. All right.
Yeah.
What else do you do, Craig, besides that and the other stuff you do?
Well, I mentioned the photography,
okay.
And I like to say I'm an event photographer because that's mainly what I do is go out and shoot events. And unlike a lot of other event photographers, most of them either do it where somebody hires them, like to go out and photograph a wedding, and they photograph it and they give those people the pictures. Or others go to an event and shoot an event and then later try to sell the photos to the people that were at the event. Maybe like it's a running festival or something, and they shoot shots of the runners and then they try to put them up on a website and get the runner to buy the photos. I have a little bit of a different model where I'll go to an event, like I went to the Gettysburg Civil War reenactment last weekend, and I'll go and I'll shoot a bunch of photos and shoot videos, and I'll put it up on Facebook, on Flickr, on my websites, my portal websites, and then I will let anybody in the photos just come and get them. They're yours.
Oh, no.
You want them, download them. If you even want me to send you a high-quality TIFF of the image, if you want me to convert it to black and white, I'll convert it. I'll send it to you. I do it all for PR.
Okay.
I do it all to generate traffic to the sites.
Nice. What's it equipment?
And go ahead.
What's it equipment? What sort of equipment do you have and use for that sort of stuff?
When I'm out in the field, I use a Segway because I carry about 30 pounds of gear, and it's usually a large event, and sometimes I have to cover a lot of ground, so I bring the Segway with me everywhere I go. I carry a think tank belt around me, and I've got pictures on my Google Plus page. I carry a Sony NEX VG10 video camera. That's the NEX series with the APS-C size sensor, so it's got a nice big sensor in it for a video camera. I carry the Sony NEX7, which also has the same sensor, and I carry a Nikon D700 and usually a 70 to 200 lens or 24 to 70 f2.8 lens, depending on the event, and sometimes a longer lens than that if I'm at a car race or something like that, maybe a 400 millimeter. But now I've started to get a little more serious about audio, because audio is very important for the videos, and so I've started carrying some additional sound gear. And the piece of equipment I was going to mention is this Sennheiser wireless system that I picked up this past week. Really like these things. It's got a small receiver that goes on the top of the camera, just goes right on the hot shoe, and then it's got a little receiver that you clip on the person's belt or whatever, and then it's got a lavalier mic, and really great audio and great for events. It's very portable, and you can mic somebody up very quickly. And so if you're doing an interview or something like that, you can get really good audio. So I go out and I'm pretty much a one-man army, and I cover the event, and we generate a lot of content, and it's content that we own, lock, stock, and barrel, that we can use to promote our brands.
Good stuff, Craig. Good stuff. All right, Steve, what were you showing there in the video there, mate?
Oh, that's because I've got, I think I own the same one. It's the Sennheiser wireless system. So I figure I grabbed this real quick to show everybody. But
Cool. All right, Jody, any questions before we go?
I'm sorry, Brad. Were you asking me?
Yeah, I was asking you any more questions for Craig.
Yeah, there was a little glitch there. I think it's fascinating, to have evolved from where you came, from the dial-in phone service in the hotel lobbies to now you're doing pageant podcasts and broadcasts. I think that's pretty amazing, and you're an interesting person. You kept on top of the trends and put them to good use.
Definitely, I agree with that one. Yeah, it's a great job, Craig, and yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to get you all to come on Pageant Live sometime. I think I've sent you some invites in the past, Brad.
We're not models though, mate. We have to be models. Jody can be on them, but Steve can.
Oh, can I meet a model? Can I do that?
I could help.
We have
Can I be the judge?
You can talk about the new media thing. These young ladies have to all learn about new media, because if they don't embrace new media, I don't think they have much of a future.
They use iPhones and stuff, and iPads and that sort of thing, or what? They getting much into technology, or
they are getting into it. They're realizing that they can't ignore this, and that's one of the reasons why they are getting involved in the show, is to learn about these things and leverage technology.
Well, maybe next time you can come on with them and get them all on Skype, and we can do a recorded episode.
You want to hang out with them, Brad? Be real.
No, yeah, sometimes. So, all right, we got a call that wants to call in. Steve, who wants to call in? Steve?
Oh yeah, Jacob.
Yeah, he wants to call in and say something about his MiFi. So here you go. Before we end of the show, so we'll go on an fun note before we go. So Jacob's going to call in. Hello, Jacob. The podcast overlord. Hello, caller.
Oh, there he is.
Hello,
Who do we have on? Who do we have here?
the podcast overlord.
Oh, hail the podcast overlord.
Hey, Jacob.
Hello, Jacob.
You can call me Jake for short, if you want.
So what happened with your MiFi?
Yeah, let's not. Yeah, what happened to MiFi, mate?
Very, very slow and sluggish.
So it's been a waste of money then, mate.
No, I have to put actual money in there because they didn't really activate it.
Well,
You think it's your area coverage?
yeah, I think it is.
In fact,
I think so.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I think so.
Oh wow.
So yeah, when did you get it, Jacob?
A couple days ago.
All right, cool, man. All right, well that's it. Any more questions, Craig, Steve, or Jody, or
No.
Brian to Craig? Here we go.
I'd like to, Craig, if people are looking to find you, how would they be able to connect with you?
It's probably best to go to my website, Craig, CraigShipp.com. And then I've got links to my photos and my videos and information about the Area Guides Network and all that good stuff.
All right, we'll just put a link to your Google Plus page. It's all in there, is it, Craig?
You can do that as well. Absolutely, you can do that.
All right, it's all on the About page, all right?
All good.
Cool. All good, mate. Brian, any last words before we go?
Have fun and geek out.
Yeah, more posts from you on my blog too, mate.
Yes, when that Nexus 7 finally ships.
Can't wait, mate. Can't wait. Steve, what do you want to say?
Oh, I hope you guys have a good weekend, everybody.
Yeah, have a good weekend. And where can they find you on Twitter?
Oh, Twitter, you can find me at chatterbox_live. And
Find me on Brad at Techwebcast, Jody Rains.
Right, you can find me on Twitter.
So Jody,
Yes.
Jody, are you on Google Plus?
Yes, she is.
Yes, I am.
Okay, I gotta message me or something. I have to circle you.
Okay, that's
I
great.
don't know if I have you circled
Wow.
or not. I don't
Really?
think we've ever met.
That's amazing. I thought you would have been.
I'll do that for you, Craig.
maybe you can put her in the pageant.
Really, I really thought you wouldn't. I thought you would have met her by now, Craig.
I don't think so. I know I've never hung out with her.
It's a big world.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, I've circled you, Craig.
Okay, good stuff. All right.
I think I have you in my new media circle. Yeah.
There you go, Craig.
Yeah, but I've never hung out with you.
Wow.
Well, there's a
Yeah,
first time for everything.
Yeah, I have her in my new media circle.
Okay.
Which is, I mean, if you're in my new media circle, that means you're all that.
Are we all in your new media circle?
Yeah, you're in my new media circle, absolutely.
Can we play
you were the first one. You were the one when I created it.
Oh, good stuff, mate. What circle do you have Jacob in?
I think he's in my new media circle too. I think all your people are in my new media circle.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm special.
Okay, you got to fix that noise, Brian.
My fan. Sorry.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys, for coming on. Steve, thanks, mate.
Brad, I have one last question before you finish up.
Sure.
I want to know everybody's anniversary date for Google Plus.
Oh, I can't even remember.
Can't remember?
No, unfortunately.
It's been about a year, right?
Yeah, it's been a year.
Yeah, I would
definitely.
say mine would
Been a year.
be early
First week.
August.
Yeah, I think I joined when Jacob joined. Jacob, when did you join?
First week.
Yeah, same with me.
Yeah.
I joined in the first week too. Yeah,
Yeah, I was the second week.
yeah. And what about you, Steve? When did you join up?
From what? No, I was
Yes.
doing something.
Just say yes, Steve.
Okay.
So yeah,
Doesn't matter. We're all there now.
That's it.
Glad we all agree.
Yeah, Steve wasn't taking notice. Thanks, Jody. Being
Thanks for having us.
thanks.
Hi, Glenn from Aussie Tech Heads. Join Will, Eric and myself as we bring you the latest, most up-to-date important tech news that affects you from Australia and the world. Weekly podcast available each Friday through iTunes. Watch the live stream recording of the show at live.thesecrethub.com each Thursday night, 7:30pm or GMT +10. Call in live via Skype or chat in our lounge. However you get us, just make sure you do. Listen or visit our website for more information, www.aussietechhead.com.au. Aussie Tech Heads, Australia's longest running tech news podcast.
Well, that's it for Techwebcast this week. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed having your mind expanded. Tune in next week for more tech talk with Brad, Jason, and whatever crazy guests they've managed to rope in. Don't forget to get the Techwebcast app from iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at Techwebcast, and of course check us out on Facebook too. Until next time, may the tech be with you. Peace.